like you believed me, and maybe you did. I kept my phone face down so I wouldn't see you not calling. You walked past like a ghost that didn't know my name. It would be easy if I haven't you. This I didn't care. This wouldn't hurt. If I didn't love you, I'd forget faster. If I wasn't holding on to every almost, I'd let go by now. But I do, and I haven't. If I didn't care, I wouldn't write these lines. If I didn't care, you wouldn't still feel like mine. You don't need to know how often you still win. If I didn't care, I wouldn't write these lines. If I didn't care, you wouldn't still feel like mine. But I do, and I won't pretend I don't. Maybe one day I will. I set the table for two, even when you weren't coming back. I said this is fine, like I was rehearsing for silence. I held the last message like a ticket for a train that never came. You didn't leave with words, just the sound of closing. I tried to stay when the light felt colder. I tried to stay when your hands lost their weight. I stayed when you didn't, and that was the hardest part.
I played our playlist, but skipped every song that said your name. I stood at the door, like maybe you'd knock just once more.
Loving you was like holding water. The tighter I gripped, the faster you slipped.
I tried to stay when it stopped feeling like home. I tried to stay, but staying shouldn't mean alone. You didn't say go, but you didn't ask me to stay. So I didn't. I tried to stay when it stopped feeling like home. I tried to didn't.
I used to wonder if you still check my page, if your friends ever mention my name by mistake. I'd rehearse 100 questions, none of them brave, just soft little echoes of what I couldn't say. But I don't ask anymore. I don't stay up late, tracing old patterns just to feel safe. I stopped holding space you didn't ask me to keep, and that silence finally lets me sleep. I pass by a corner, but I don't slow down. Your ghost doesn't reach me the way it used to now. Maybe I'm colder, or maybe I'm clear. Either way, you're no longer here. I don't ask anymore, not even in my head. I stopped trying to rewrite what you said. I let go without needing more, and that's the peace I was always looking for. You said this doesn't change anything, but somehow everything did. You held my hand like it meant something, but your eyes were already elsewhere. I told myself to wait, but time only made things clearer. You were soft, but not staying. You were kind, but not close. You said it didn't mean anything, but I felt everything. You kissed me like a maybe, and I believed it like a promise. You laughed, but not with me. You spoke, but not to stay. I watched you leave slowly, like you were hoping I wouldn't notice. Some love doesn't, it just wasn't real. You said it meant nothing, but it meant something to me. You forgot like it was easy. I remember like it still hurts. And that probably means it was never didn't say goodbye, just left the door half open. I stood where you used to sleep, hoping the silence would speak. I played our song, but it echoed like a room already empty. You left me in the quiet and called it peace. Where love doesn't leave without sound. I wanted the hurt if it meant you stayed honest. I wanted the fight if it meant you didn't vanish. You left in the quiet and I stayed loud. I still flinch when the wind carries footsteps. I still pause when the kettle sings, because you used to say you loved that sound. I write in my head what you could have said, and none of it feels worse than nothing. Love doesn't leave this still. I would have taken broken over blank, but you chose the quiet, and now I'm learning to live there. Even if it wasn't mine. I passed our street last night. No pause, no second glance. Used to feel like drowning, now it feels like chance. I played our song this morning, and nothing pulled me down. Used to wreck me halfway in, now I just let it sound. It's not forgetting, it's just less loud. It doesn't hurt when someone says your name. It doesn't sting in the middle of the day. I thought the ache would stay longer than you did, but time made space and I let it live. I don't hate, I don't hope, I just know I don't love you anymore. And that's the kind of peace I was made for. I don't check your page, don't wonder where you are. You stopped being my gravity, and I found a softer star. This isn't cold, it's just clear. You stopped mattering Just know I don't love you anymore, and that's the kind of quiet I waited for. I folded your shirt before you asked me to. It felt like something you'd forget, so I remembered. You liked your coffee burnt. I learned to like it too. I still make it that way, but never tastes the same. I left a note you never found. Maybe you were never looking. I laughed when you forgot my birthday. Said we've both been busy, like I believed it. Half of me was always holding on, the other half pretending not to. I was the last to know that you'd already let go. I watched you button your coat like you'd done it 1,000 times without me. I asked what you were thinking. You said nothing, and I believed you again. Sometimes leaving looks like staying quiet too long. Half of me still hopes you'll call, the other half knows better. But neither half has figured out how to stop missing you. You don't say it, but it shows every time you don't look up. You laugh at my joke, but only with your mouth. Your eyes have been somewhere else for days. I ask what's wrong, you say I'm just tired. Like that explains how far you've gotten from me. quiet today. You hold my hand like it's habit, not home. You home. You don't say it, but I know you're leaving in slow motion. And I keep pretending you're just quiet today. You don't say it, but I know you're leaving in slow motion. And I keep pretending you're just quiet today. I didn't think I'd like someone who leaves their socks everywhere, but here you are on my floor, and I don't mind. You hum when you wash dishes, you talk to the kettle, you don't close cabinet doors, and still somehow this feels like peace. I used to wait for storms to know I felt something, but this is sunlight through the blinds. You feel like Sunday, no alarms, no plans, just soft laughter and scrambled eggs. You feel like something I forgot I could have. You read half a book and tell me the plot like you wrote it. You mess up the chords but sing loud anyway. I laugh every time. Not every love has to burn. Some just sit beside you, warm, quiet and real. You feel like Sunday, like I'm finally home, and nothing is on fire, and that's more than enough. I used to wait for storms to know I felt something, but this is sunlight through the blanks. You feel like something, like I'm finally home, and nothing is on fire, and that's more than enough. Didn't think I'd try again, but here you are. You didn't ask why I flinch when it's quiet. You just stayed and let the silence soften. I don't know where this is is going, but I know how it feels. There's no rush, no wait, no finish line we're chasing. Just your hand and the calm it brings. I'm not afraid to fall a little slow this time. You smile like it's not trying to fix me, and I don't flinch when you mean what you say. Maybe I needed someone who lets me breathe and doesn't fill in every blank I carry. There's no rush, no spark we have to prove. Just small hours that start to feel like home. I'm not afraid to love this gently, and if it fades, at least it was kind. Seconds, the night moves on. Your jacket's still resting on the chair. I sit beside it like you're still there. The hallway hums with the quiet night. I keep my head down, nothing feels right. I hold my breath, I wait for a sign, but it just slips further with time. The night you left, I'm still awake. The night you left, my hands still shake. I try to move on, but I lose my fight. The night you left, nothing feels right. Your bag was waiting by the stairs. I thought you'd take it, but it stayed there. The kitchen clock still ticks out of tune. Every hour it reminds me of you. I close my eyes, but it's not the same. Every step still calls your name. The night you left, I'm still awake. The night you left, my hands still shake. I try to move on, but I lose my fight. The night you left, nothing feels. I replay the words I should have said. They circle around, they fill my head. Every detail, it pulls me back, and I can't forget the things we land. The night you left, I'm still awake. The night you left, my hands still shake. I try to move on, but I lose my fight. The night you left, nothing feels right. The night you left, still holding tight. You looked at me like you used to, but not long enough to mean what it used to. I fixed my hair like that would help. You said, hey, I said it back. You asked how's life, I lied with grace. You smiled, but not at my face. You looked fine, like nothing cracked. I looked okay, but wanted back. I was there, but felt too small. You stood tall, I curled up. I said I'm good, but I still break. You looked fine and I felt fake. You asked about that old cafe. I remembered but turned away. I laughed too quick, you blinked too long, and both of us knew something's gone. You didn't flinch, I held my hand. You moved like we never began. I was there, but felt erased. You held still, I lost my place. You looked right through what we were. You looked fine, I looked unsure. You grew past, I stayed the same. You don't ask and I don't blame. You looked fine and that's okay, but I still shake most days. I wish I knew how to pretend. You looked fine, I played the end. I count the steps from you to me, and every inch feels soft and free. You say my name like no one could, and suddenly the world feels good. I've been loud, I've been lost, but next to you it all comes off. You feel like home, not walls or floors, but something warm behind the doors. Don't ask much, but give me more. A quiet kind I can't ignore. You don't fix me, you just stay, and that alone takes pain away. You feel like home, not just a place, but every hour I want to face. You don't pretend, you see it through, and every time I choose you too. If loving you is all I do, I think that's worth this whole view. You feel like home, the steady kind, where peace and love don't hide behind. You're not a dream, you're what I found. And when you're here, I don't come down. I know the world doesn't promise soft, and love like ours comes with its cost. But when you sleep with your back to mine, I still reach out like you'll be fine. Some days are quiet, some days ache, but every version I still take. Stay for the rest, not just the gold. Stay for the mess, the stories we hold. I don't need perfect, just something we build. Even if love comes dressed in guilt. You hate the sound of thunder at night. I leave the light on your side. I still get scared you'll change your mind, but I'd rather risk it than press rewind. You said forever like you meant it slow, and I keep repeating it soft and low. Stay for the rest, the not so bright, the mornings we argue, but make it right. I won't ask for more than truth, but if you stay, I'll stay too. I've tried pretending I don't need much, but with you I want too much. So stay for the rest, the boring parts too. Stay when it's quiet and no one moves. We won't get every moment
You made it small. I held us, you let it fall. I stayed up, you stayed out. I bit my tongue, you raised your doubt. I showed up, you said don't try. I made it right, you asked me why. You say I'm strong, but use my weight. I gave you more than you could take. All I gave you called too much, but kept it close when things got rough. I poured, you looked away. You left, but asked me to stay. You said you love, but only take. I forgave, you said that's fair. You lost things, but I was there. I let you speak while I went quiet. You liked me soft, then called it tired. I broke for you and said I'm fine. You took my yes and drew the line. All I gave you called too much, but used it all when things got tough. I asked, you turned to leave. I stayed with no reprieve. You said I'm rare, but didn't choose. You had my best and let it bruise. All I gave you called too deep, but kept the parts you gotta keep. I stayed when it hurt too loud. You left without turning around. I won't take gold or printed name, not the stories, not the frame. The house will fade, the voice will still, but love is what I'll carry until the final breath, the fading light, the last goodbye into the night. All I leave behind is how I loved, not how I looked or what I've done. Just the way I held your hand, the silent way you'd understand. I gave too much to the wrong things, but still believed in what love brings. And if you feel my warmth one day, know it's a part that chose to stay. I won't be loud in memory, but maybe love outlives the body. Oh,
truth without a word. Some chase more than hearts can hold, but love is rare and quiet gold. All I leave behind is this small song, a proof of love that lingered long. And if it's soft, and if it's kind, let that be what's left behind. You walked in like a warning, but I didn't flinch. You smiled like you'd seen me in a life I haven't lived. I asked your name and then forgot to breathe. You said something dumb and it sounded like poetry. I'm scared of fast things, but I still took your hand. Don't know where this is going, but I don't need a plan. I don't know you yet, but I want to. Even if you ruin me the way some people do. This might end messy, but maybe that's fair, 'cause I'd rather crash than not get there. I'm writing down pieces of things you said, memorizing nothing but feeling it instead. You talk in circles and I keep following. Your voice is a maze, but I don't want out of it. I swore I'd be cautious, but I jumped the line. Something about you makes risk feel like mine. I don't know you yet, but I want to. Even if I lose the calm I spent years holding on to. This could be chaos, but maybe that's right, 'cause every love I played safe went quiet. Tell me something true, I'll believe it all. Don't give me slow, just make me fall. I don't know you yet, but I want to. If this breaks me, at least I broke for you. We could burn bright or fade too fast, but I'll take the heat if you'll make it last. I keep driving past that street we said goodbye. Sometimes I park and just sit there a while. Your jacket's still in the backseat fold. I could throw it out, but I won't be that bold. The coffee's still bitter without your hand, but every sip still tastes like when. Do I stay where your voice still lingers, or start over with nothing but fingers crossed for better and scared of worse, stuck in the space between healing and hurt? The playlists skip like they know too well. Every lyric's now a little farewell. My friends say go, but they never stayed for the quiet parts when you looked my way. I packed once, but slept on the floor, 'cause empty rooms feel like war. Do I stay where the ghosts are kind, or start over with no map to find the version of me you never met, the one who leaves without regret? Maybe love's not what we thought at first. Maybe staying was making it worse. So I'll stay just a little more, till the memory fades at the bedroom door. And when it does, I'll know the way, not back to you, but where I'll stay. I used to whisper just to keep the peace, laughed at your jokes that cut into me. I called it compromise, you called it love, but I gave you everything, you gave just enough. You said I was too much, then asked me to stay. I shrank to fit, but now I say I left the door open, then walked away. I didn't slam it, but I didn't stay. You fed on my silence, I'm done being sweet. You don't get to miss me when I found my feet. You liked me quieter, kept me on mute, said healing takes time while you played the flute. I kept rewriting every little red flag, turned pain into poems and wore every tag. But I'm not your shadow, not your repair. I won't shrink for someone who was never there. I left the door open, then walked away. Not for you, but for me to stay sane. You wanted devotion, I wanted the truth. the girl you tried to contain. I left the door open, but I'm not coming back. I packed my heart and painted the cracks. You lost the right to keep me small. I left for me, and I stand tall. You spoke like truth, but sold me tricks. Built me up on hollow bricks. You watched me climb with steady eyes, then lit the fuse and fed me lies. I gave my hands, you tied them tight, then left me there without a light. My heart's a matchstick, burned too quick. You struck it once just for the kick, but I won't beg to stay on fire. I'll douse it out, walk through the wire. You like control disguised as care. I mistook silence for being there. You held the mirror at the wrong end, so I blamed myself for what you meant. I stitched your name into my skin, but tore it out to start again. My heart's a matchstick, burned too fast. You turned your back and watched it crash. I won't break to prove I tried. I'll stomp the flame before it spreads wide. You taught me pain in perfect form, but now I walk through every storm. Not fearless, just not yours. My heart's a matchstick, no longer yours. I built a wall behind your door. I'll keep the scar, but not the flame. You lit the fire, I left the name.